Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see Ramage out there with his shirt tied around his head. I promise you that. No doubt about it. All right, let's move it along. Position battle number 4, safety. And I know this is going to upset some people because it feels like, look, and don't get me wrong, this is Evan Williams' job to lose. I do believe that. Evan Williams played great last year. But Evan Williams versus Javon Bullard for that other safety spot. Evan Williams, a 4th-round pick, impressed with consistency in 2024, starting 6 games. Javon Bullard, a 2nd-rounder, struggled with injuries and positional shifts, but has high potential. Both are vying to start alongside Xavier McKinney, with Williams currently holding an edge due to his reliability. I think he started more than 6 games. They may have gotten that wrong there, but you guys can check that yourself. Nonetheless, this is Evan Williams' job to lose. I'm just saying with Javon Bullard and that upside, if he takes a huge step and comes out and beats Evan Williams out for that other safety job, as much as I love Evan Williams, I'd have no problem with Bull starting. The problem is, though, Tim, I'll start with you this time. Last year, Javon Bullard struggled at safety, man.
Yeah.
Emilio always cuts me off and defends Bullard, and I respect him for it because he's like, yeah, but how many times did he have to go back and play safety on a short week while he was training all week long to be nickel? That's a great point. But yeah. I like Evan Williams' chances just holding down the fort here. But again, you got versatility in Javon Bullard. If Hobbs gets banged up, breaks a shoelace, he can kick in there and play the slot. If Evan Williams goes out because he crapped his britches, right, then guess what? While he's changing his britches, Javon Bullard can kick back there to safety. It's nice to have that Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, we always talk about it, right? Versatility is king in the modern NFL, right? And we talk about Bullard being so good in the slot. I'm not entirely convinced that Evan Williams couldn't play in the slot like a dog. I mean, you see him near the line of scrimmage; he plays really well. I think someone else commented, I don't know if that was Coach Len in the chat, brought that up a few minutes ago, that Evan Williams near the line of scrimmage is no joke as well. So there's versatility across the board. But I'm leaning towards your opinion on the matter, Clay. I think it's E-Will's job to lose here. I love Javon Bullard, but until he can get that coverage grade up, get that footwork and those hips turning the right way and, not getting beat, then we can talk about safety. I'd prefer him, like I said, hybrid damn near will linebacker sometimes type of guy and playing slot corner as opposed to being on the back end, the last guy between a receiver and a touchdown. I feel better about Evan Williams in that spot, honestly, at this point.
As Clint says in the chat here, Jacob, Evan is a smart man. He mentions FBI, obviously football intelligence. And what's crazy is I remember us breaking down his college tape and we're going, man, he's really good against the run. He's a great tackler, but how good is he going to be in coverage? He's going to be great in coverage and really, really smart football player at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate, always agreeing with each other, but I just don't think that Evan Williams is going to lose that spot. And honestly, I don't want him to, because I saw something out of Evan Williams where the FBI is a great, that football IQ for him being as young as he was, he seemed to understand the process that was happening. And the fact that he works with a guy like X that I'm sure is helping mentor these guys. Yeah. I want Javon Bullard on the field. I don't want him taking Evan Williams off the field, if that makes sense. Wherever we can stick Bullard in. Like Tim maybe highlighted there, is it certain packages where we have almost like a hybrid kind of backer slash, what do you call that position, Clay? Would you call a hybrid backer safety or maybe a hybrid slot safety? Would you call that like a
star, something like that? Or
well, see, star is typically your nickel back. When you got a guy that can kind of play safety and corner, which is what Bullard did last year, I refer to him as a spur safety. Now, spur is typically when you're safety, and it's kind of a college term. It's the safety that plays in the box over the tight end, typically that type of guy. But yeah, I mean, star is a good description of it as well. It's that dude that's going to play in the slot over the 3, unless they go speed to 3 and you want to match a different type of corner on them, and then they got to be versatile enough to kick inside. Now, listen, back in the day when the Saints kind of hit their peak under Sean Payton and they had Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator, this was back in the early 2010s, I believe, maybe late 2000s. What they did was they ran a dollar set, and they had a lot of DBs. They would put 6 DBs on the field, right? And they would even play the run like that. And they could do that because 2 of those 6 DBs were actually kind of hybrid safety linebackers. That makes sense. So, yeah. Ron Sanville said Williams appeared in 12 games and started 6, so they did get it right. Thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate it. So, and you know how that start is too, guys. Kind of like LVN in college. They were like, he didn't even start. It's like, bro, they did that on purpose. Like they literally, the opening snap, they had their seniors on the field, and they pulled him off, and he played every other snap. So it is kind of splitting hairs in that regard. So anything else on the safety position there, boys, on that?
Thank you, Goody, for flipping that room. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
It really did, man. Hell of a job there. Tony Holman in the chat said, you'll sweat out of places you didn't know you had tomorrow at camp. Hey, that's boys, don't be ashamed to break out the nut dust. Go for the green bottle. Go for the green bottle. Go, Bond. Get the triple action. Don't waste no time. Take care of business. All right? Yeah, it is terrible, Chuck. We know what it's like. All right.
Don't use that bottle when you're on the pole. That was the problem today, guys. All right.
that was the problem.
Opposite.
Got them cheeks hanging up on the pole. All right, Tim about to sign off. All right, number 5 here. We have got, Bates got it. He knows about the green bottle. Medicated, baby. You got it, buddy. You got it. So I heard somebody talking about the other day, and they were like, man, you got to be careful with that stuff. You overload it, turns into sheetrock mud. All right.
Good
Number
Lord.
5 here, we got the top 2 outside receiver spots. Pretty specific, right? Romeo Doubs versus, I'm sure the chat's out of line. Romeo Doubs. We need somebody to generate an AI image of Jacob with his cheeks stuck on the pole. That's what we need. So Romeo Doubs versus Matthew Golden versus Dontavion Wicks versus Savion Williams. All right. So Jaden Reed's a lock in the slot. I think we would all agree there. But the battle for the top outside receiver role is wide open. With Christian Watson most likely being out until November, the race is between 4 guys for 2 spots. Romeo Doubs has good hands. Dontavion Wicks, known for getting open, are veterans in the mix. Rookie first-rounder Matthew Golden brings playmaking potential, while third-rounder Savion Williams could surprise. Snaps will depend on camp performance. And we kind of talked about this with Savion. We didn't get to see him at receiver a lot at TCU when we broke down the tape because they put him everywhere. He was wildcat. He'd play in the sidecar. They use him on cheat motion, end arounds. When he did play, his contested catch rate was unbelievable. But at the same time, he had a lot of drops, just open passes that he dropped. So it's like, which one is he? To me, he's the dark horse, right? He's the guy that's probably kind of the odd man out. But I think it's going to come down to them giving him a chance with that big, what is he, 6'4", 230 pounds, 220 pounds, whatever it is. So Romeo Doubs is definitely an X, right? He'll play the X. That's on the line of scrimmage opposite the tight end, typically in a phone booth on the boundary type thing. He can win in close quarters. He's got good hands. That's his superpower. Matthew Golden, 4'2", 40, take the top off the defense. Pretty darn good at contested catching as well. Good at high pointing the ball. We've seen him late hands in college, all those things. He does really well running those outside routes as well. What we see those comebacks. Remember, Tim, he would run the inside curl.
Yep.
He would curl in, catch the ball fading toward the sideline, then jab step and cut back inside. That's an outside move, right?
Yep.
And listen, we don't want anything to happen to Jaden Reed, but if he goes down, I'm not as concerned about the slot because Dontavion Wicks has a little bit of history there. Matthew Golden can kick into the slot if you need him to, because that's what a moving Z did in Sarkisian's offense down there at Texas. I just think this is going to be a hell of a camp battle. And that's why I said don't take the ranking, the number 1 through 5, to heart here, Tim, because this battle here could be as tough as any of the other 4 we mentioned.
I absolutely agree. I mean, just reading this, top 2 outside receiver spots. Dobbs versus Golden versus Wicks versus Williams. Like this, like, I mean, are we living in a fairy tale right now? I mean, you talk about, do you think they took it serious when Scoot went down last year and they knew he was going to be out until possibly Thanksgiving? You think that this front office responded accordingly as we continue to add talent in the wide receiver room? So when it comes to the boundary, this is going to be one of the battles to watch for sure. I'm sure it's no secret. I think everyone's going to be looking at the wide receiver group from day one till the very end of training camp. And it's going to be fun to watch, particularly to your point, Clayton, Wicks and Williams, because that's going to be a battle that, if Tay Wicks doesn't take that step that we want him to take, and Savion Williams is the real deal, we might see a changing of the guard. You never know how camp shapes out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another guy we didn't mention here, Jacob, and I would not be surprised based off of his veteran presence and his experience playing with the Chiefs. What if we come out in camp and we're a week and a half in, and all of a sudden Mecole Hardman is lining up in the Z and just taking the top off? That could be a thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as you guys know how much I love the underdogs, I would love if Savion Williams, because the guy is absolutely built like a brick, house. I don't know if they would trust him with that much responsibility. I feel like they're definitely going to give a nod to a guy like Dobbs and to Wicks and to Golden just because of the pedigree. But again, you talk about a good problem to have here, man. I mean, this is just kind of unbelievable to think that we have so much talent packed in that board. And again, it is worthwhile bringing up a guy like Mecole Hardman, who a lot of people maybe see as an underdog at this point. I hate using the term casual fans, but I think a lot of casual fans think still that he is just a camp guy, just a body, and that he doesn't actually represent anything that the Packers have, as like a future plans with this dude. I really do think that he's going to, right there.
Yep.
I think that he's going to surprise some people. And the best thing going for a guy like him is still to this day, that wide receiver room is incredibly young. Even the guys that have 2-3 years under their belt, I mean, that's not a lot. That's not a lot for growing into being a full-blown NFL wide receiver that understands the concepts, understands how to break down defenses, to attack those defenses. And imagine this too. A lot of these guys, I mean, even guys like Dobbs, Wicks, even Watson, when he comes back, they could make an insane jump still, and they're sealing their progression. And then imagine if one of these younger guys absolutely just come out of the gates and they're like a mid-70s PFF grade, you know what I mean, as rookies. We've got ourselves a group for a long time.
I think you highlighted one of the main reasons why they even entertained the thought of signing Mecole Hardman, is because when you have a room this deep and this young, you've got to bring in some kind of veteran leadership and some kind of stability and versatility to that room. And I think there's a legit opportunity for a guy like Hardman to be one of the 6 that ends up making this 53 when it's all said and done. But of course, camp starts tomorrow, so what the hell am I talking about? We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, and as Robert said, Love did do a 70-yard bomb to Mecole Hardman in OTAs. I remember that being one of the highlights there in OTAs. Coach Lynn says Packers aren't playing games with Wicks if he can't be more consistent. I mean, that's really what you've seen all the way across the board with these camp battles. Yep. Is Goody's just lining up another stud behind a guy. Hey, look, if you underperform again, this dude will take your spot. This dude will take your spot. I'm telling you, man, it's just
absolutely. What does that do? It raises the competition level through the roof. It's a chain reaction, right?
Rising tide raises all ships. No doubt.
What up?
This receiving is tough.